Hi guys, my name is Mark and today the most loved YouTuber and reviewer from BenQ, Zoe, is doing another great video about one of their most famous and loved products, the actual new gaming monitor, the BenQ ZOWIE 2566K. Let's go guys. And first of all, no one sent me this monitor for free. Now you ask me, where's the monitor, Mark? Here it is. Snack. As you can see, I used it. Yes, a lot. I did not open this here. This is like to hang on or off your, how's it called, headset. I don't use headsets, but you can put it on here, and for competitive it's pretty cool. I saw and knew. Also you have like those windshields here on the side to have more focus, but I also did not install one of these, as I also did not or do not use the standard monitor stand, and I don't use the in Germany we say Fernbedienung, the share button, where you have like your 3 prepared monitor settings. I also don't use this. I just used the monitor on my monitor arm as always, as I do it like 3 years already, since 2019. Yeah, 3 years. And at first of all, for all who are here and think I will destroy this monitor because I'm a ZOWIE hater, I'm not a ZOWIE hater. I know my last video was very hard, but it was just the truth. And today I will talk the truth about this monitor. And upfront I can already say this monitor impressed me a lot, to be honest. Most of you think I'm an Nvidia, Asus or G-Sync fanboy or paid or whatever, but I'm not. Actually, I'm not. Maybe soon, I don't know. But for now I have to say this monitor just surprised me in how ZOWIE, which is a company, so BenQ ZOWIE, I thought is standing still in the Stone Age because of their mice, or in general the mice they are producing, like the C series, which lately, like one day ago, became 20 euro more expensive. They are 90 euro now, mice with cables, and not 60 or 70 anymore, which surprised me a lot. But who were able to release a new gaming monitor. So back in the days, they had the 2025, like, where is it? I have it here somewhere. They had the 2546K, which was one of the last models they released. It also was the base model for my last review, which was very disappointing, or for me is like not usable, which people like Optimum Tech said is an awesome competitive monitor. In my opinion, it was awesome competitive trash. Why so? Because 240 Hertz in comparison to 360 Hertz are just not worth it. Now you ask me, or you ask yourself, would you feel the difference between 240 and 360 Hertz, or 140 or 44 and 240? And I can tell you, yes, you would. I just seeked out this very old Linus Tech Tip videos, which you can watch yourself or maybe review it if you already viewed it, which was, yes, paid by Nvidia and made together with Linus Tech Tips, but where people just showed and proved that higher hertz and FPS give you competitive advantages. Okay, this video stops at 240 FPS and hertz, but it already showed how big the advantage is. And I can tell you the advantage from 240 to 360 is even bigger, just in how it feels. And then after I talked about it like over 1.5 years ago, or when we started our YouTube channels, I talked about higher refresh rates for mice, so 2000 or 4000 hertz on mice. People called me crazy, dumb and stupid and whatever. And now, since you have those Razer 4000 hertz mice, 360 hertz monitors even make more sense to you, because the input from your 4000 hertz mouse now is even better for you on your 360 Hz BenQ because the feeling gets more natural, more smooth, more one-to-one. And these are all benefits from higher refresh rates, not only from FPS. And frame per second in visual is something different to a refresh rate. It's the same as the amount of data sent over a mouse by 1000 Hertz, 2000 or 4000 Hertz polling rate is different to a high amount of data sent with a low polling rate. That's two different things just for you to understand. And yes, it makes sense to play 360 Hertz or 240 Hertz with a lower FPS number than you have in Hertz. That's the base, guys. I know these questions will come because people come to me and will I feel when I have less FPS than Hertz? Will I feel when I have more FPS than Hertz? Both I can confirm with yes, but the advantage of more Hertz on a monitor is always present. That's just for you for the raw understanding. The monitor by BenQ are known for DIAC. What is DIAC? DIAC is the backlight strobing technology, which they show you here in an impressive way on their webpage. Where is it? I think it's here. Yeah, they have like this comparison video. You can watch it there. They show no DIAC with DIAC, and they also have videos with the old K model with 240 Hertz with DIAC on, and with the new one. And you already can see on these videos that those 360 Hertz improve the visual clearness and the way you can spot, target and track enemies by more than 3%. People lately talked about 3 to 6%, but I can tell you, if you play it and you are like able to how can I say, your system is not that bloated or that slow that you can't feel anything in any game, you will directly feel it. And if you doubt this or you ask yourself if it's true or not, I just can tell you, you directly feel when you go back from 360 to 230. Just play 360 for 5 days, more than 2-3 hours, and then directly go back to 240 Hertz. And then tell me there's no difference. There is. So as we talked about the DIAC they're using here, which is a backlight strobing technology, which is used by a lot of brands now. It's also called ULMB. On some brands they call it aim stabilizer. It's just a black picture or a black refresh between your normal refreshed pictures on the screen. Now you ask me, how is it good or why is it good? The reason why this is good is because it makes the visual clearness way better. You can spot and target enemies way better because they are more clear to see, and they are not like it's not like this ghosting effect when they move fast isn't there anymore because of those interfering black pictures between the colored pictures. So it's basically refreshing your pixels, and that's one of the main features why I think you should buy a monitor like this. And that's also one of the only reasons, because one thing I immediately felt when I installed this monitor was like, okay, the picture is very clear because of the DIAC Plus. It feels very good. You can track and aim people very good in Overwatch at 360 FPS capped or at uncapped 600 FPS. Yes, my system is capable of doing this constantly. And it just felt smooth. And you directly see that the picture is way more clear than the 2.5-year-old technology on the Asus 360QN or QNR model, which shares something with the BenQ, because the manufacturer of both is AU Optronics. Sure, one is an IPS, this one is a TN, but remember, it's both 360 Hertz, and the IPS was the first one. Also, the IPS on the Asus was way slower, It has an average from 2 to 4 ms, and this one has an average of like 2 ms, not 4. So you have already like 2 ms lower average in your milliseconds, or in the change of your, so in the color change of the pixels on your screen, which is very good, and you directly can see it. Also, other reviewers like Optimum Tech proved it, that the fast moving is like, looks like you are up to 4 frames per second better and more clear compared to the Aces, which is really enjoyable, because I remember back to my Aces in very fast-paced games like Apex, or here like in Overwatch, it sometimes looks too blurry or too color dumpy, like you watch into a hole of a lot of colors which are just moving. Sometimes it was hard to identify the enemy, and that's why you use like obsolete or strange settings like the color vibrance at 100%, because you only aim for glow. And I only aimed for glow sometimes, to be honest, because it was more easy for me to aim for something glowing than to aim for something which I can't identify on the background. It was like in, which game was it? Shatterline or Modern Warfare? No, it was a Modern Warfare, where I played the MB2 beta, and there were some skins on some maps on the museum. On the museum map was like, I don't even saw the enemy on the Q&R, because I can't spot the color difference between the wall and the enemy moving in front of it. This would not be, or would have happened with this monitor, just cause of the black light strobing and of the different color models and modes. But I will talk about the colors and how they interfere with the performance of the monitor later. So as we talked about the diag technology, which is one of the most important here for me, we already talked about the hertz. They also have like an XL setting to share, which is a good, nice gimmick for me. You can download settings from pro players and other guys and load them directly into your XL share command center here. So you have those, or the monitor setting of these people. One thing I have to say to this is, those people, first thing, you don't know which Windows settings they're playing. I talk about this in a second. You don't know how they're sitting. Is the window behind them? How tilted is the monitor of them? How do they sit in front of the monitor? How's their posture? There's a lot more than just downloading fucking settings for a game from a website, from BenQ, to be good at the game. One thing I have to tell you, or which I shall show you later, is try to use one of the 3 presets, FPS 1 to 3, because these are, in my opinion, the best made in the monitor. And don't think too much about what is someone else is playing. It's the same thing as you go into the Twitch chat or of a big guy and you do exclamation mark sense. Bro, he's maybe sitting like this, that. I don't know how he's playing. Maybe he plays like this. It will bring you nothing. That's the same thing why those shared settings will have less than 0.1% impact. That's my opinion, and you can prove it yourself. And if you have a lot of game experience, you will prove it yourself, believe me. So they have those XL share feature, which I'm not using, which they invented with the last K series on the 240 Hz monitor. It's a good gimmick. It's a unique sales point. But is it worth 200 euros more? I don't know. One thing which I think is very good is, in Germany it means mehr Komfort im Spielen, means more comfort whilst gaming. It's like, I honestly have to say, BenQ has one of the best monitor stands and most overthought monitor stands I've ever seen. You can see it here. The tilting of the monitor is very good. The way you can move it is very good. The way you can just tilt the bottom plate to still have more space, or to get your mouse pad closer to the keyboard if you play like this, is very good made. They have, for me, the monitor stand they use is for me the most advanced for a competitive mindset of a competitive playing. So that's one very good thing. They also have those focus shields on the side if you want to use them. I don't use them because my focus is okay. I sit 1 centimeter with my face in front of my monitor, so everything is focused. That's the joke, I'm not. But one thing which they don't show you here is, or which I want to talk about whilst I'm using these BenQ monitor, is like, you would have to play it like this, huh? But normally I play like this, very tilted, but that's not really possible, because when you do it like this, the monitor itself is way darker in overall. Especially the like upper 10% of your viewing angle darks out a lot, and the rest of the monitor also gets darker. That's one disadvantage of TN. It's always and always was a disadvantage. The viewing angle. Same as the colors. The colors are not as deep and as refreshing as they are on an IPS or on an, I don't know, QLED, mini LED, OLED, whatever you want. So on the newer technologies, colors, color deepness, black, white, the brightness in general is way better, contrasts are way better. So the picture itself looks more vibrant without getting too bright, and still maintains a higher quality of picture itself with, for example, OLED technology. Here you have to think about that TN is basically just pushed forward to 360 Hz for competitive use, in my opinion, because for people who enjoy graphics and colors and whatever in their games, this is not the first choice, not by price and not by how the panel is working. Also, I don't think most people are still not want to move over to 360 Hz. So what I saw on Twitter, for example, most people watching for those 240 Hz OLED, whatever. I'm okay with this. But from my side, or what I understood and know for now, is that OLED 240 Hz, it's not, the problem isn't the display itself, it's more like the driver behind the input lag of the whole build up in the displays. Because no one or no company was forced to make a gaming OLED so far, because OLED gaming is basically in your living room with your PlayStation, and that's 120 Hz and not 240, 360, whatever. So gaming OLEDs, in my opinion, will start next year, and I hope they will be very good and very fast, but we will see. And here I would bet on LG to be the market leader before Samsung, for example. But for this, AU Optronics, which also made the new 1440p 360 Hz for Asus, is basically right now some kind of market leader in high refresh, fast IPS TN panels. The other guys like Inox and BOE are also there, and they're getting closer and closer. BOE, for example, is already has shown 510 Hertz, 27-inch full HD displays like nearly 1 year ago already as prototypes, and a half year ago on a big show in Asia. And now you ask yourself, who's BOE? BOE is the main manufacturer since a long time for Apple. Nearly every Apple display on every MacBook, every whatever is made by BOE. So they have a lot of experience in making high-class displays. And I think we need more player in the market to get the technology more pushed. So that's for now. It's my biggest problems with the TN panel is the viewing angle and the colors. The rest is just superb, not gonna lie. I'm pretty impressed. It's a very, very competitive monitor. And for the most of you who are here who would ask me this question, would I say, or would I tell you to buy this one for 650 euro? If you are an emerging CS pro, you're playing a high tier league and you have the money, or you're an upcoming Valorant professional, or you want to be very competitive even whilst streaming because you're not a VTuber, this is the pick right now on 1080p, for 360 hertz. There's nothing I know which comes even close in picture clearness and quality when you forget about the viewing angles and the colors. That's it, guys. That's for now. I never thought I would say this in the near future. BenQ now has the most competitive esports monitor on the market. We will see how long this will be. I already ordered an AQN. It's here tomorrow and I will review it next week for you. So let's continue to talk about this monitor. I just made some researches for you just to compare it. The price here in Germany is 650 euro when it is available. I just compared it here on the web page. I just do this like this for you, putting it over here. This is your new Alienware. Those are both the old panels here, which I talked about. This was the one I was playing for a very long time. It was released 15, so like it's 2 years ago now. Yeah, over 2 years and 2 months ago. And I was one of the very first persons who had the Q&R in Germany. I paid 999 euro for the Q&R without even knowing, and I didn't know there's no advantage from the Q&R compared to the QN. I should have bought the QN and saved 250 euro, but yeah, for now it's like this. The QN, the lowest price ever seen was like, I think something 426 euros. Right now it's about 500 euro. The Alienware with the same display also 500. Then Alienware released a new 360 hertz, like on nearly 2 years after the QN, so 2 months ago. This one has no G-Sync, but it has a way faster IPS display panel, which is only 0.5 milliseconds in grade-to-grade transition, which is a very good number. I did not test it so far. I also saw no actual tests, but I think if you want to go for IPS 360 hertz and you don't need G-Sync or you don't want G-Sync, this is the pick right now. The Alienware for 450 euro. It looks like the most interesting one. And then I want to show you some weird stuff. In my opinion, it's like the way BenQ ZOWIE or the price politic at BenQ ZOWIE is like kind of, it's not what I think is good for gaming or healthy for the gaming market. It's like, if you look like this, the old 2546K is still 450 euro, which is only 200 euro less than the new one, the 360 hertz. And the technique and the display of it is very, very old. The K was a refresh from the S, and the S already was 2 years old. So it's like, from now it's 2, 4, up to 6-year-old technique, TN panel technique into this monitor. And I don't know why it's still so expensive. Because when you compare Asus monitor, which is like 1 year newer and has a TN panel also with nearly the same numbers, even a little bit brighter, same PPI, with how it looks, 280 hertz, you only pay 224 euro. Why should you buy, or where? The only reason would be the DIAC, but I can tell you on this old panel, it doesn't matter. If you want to have 240 hertz right now, maybe this is your pick, guys. Don't use the overclock mode to 280 hertz, just play it simple 240 hertz. This one is pretty good for you. It's G-Sync certified, it's okay, but I wouldn't recommend to play any sync on this one for 250. Just to give you a short overview and comparison how the market looks right now. I also compared here on displayspecifications.com, which is basically an Asian site or Asian based, how the Q&R, the 2566K and the RQN, which is coming to me, as I said, tomorrow, look like on the paper. All the displays are from all three monitors are made by RO Optronics. As you see, the bitrate on the Q&R is the highest. Is it needful? No. As you see, the bitrate is 8-bit, so 6-bit plus FRC. On the ZOWIE, which I can tell you, you will see. I come later. We'll talk in a brief second about this. Because if you don't use the monitor settings, so the color monitor, standards, which are brought to you by BenQ ZOWIE. The picture and how the bars in your windows look and will prove you or will show you that they don't have real 8-bit, then it really looks like 6-bit. You need to use the color profile which ZOWIE brought to you. And I only can say, or that's the only color profile I would say you should use. And I will show you later in some pictures why. The rest we will see here. It's like the brightness is not the best as we know already, because it's a TN panel. Everything else is pretty good. You see it has way lower reaction times, typical reaction time of 4 milliseconds compared to the new Arco N, which they say have 6 milliseconds. We don't know for now. The minimal ones is 0.5 milliseconds within, it's the overdrive setting set to 20, but to be honest, that's not playable because the overshoot is so high that no one will ever play it. So basically we have the same ranges. I don't know how it looks with overshoot like here and on the overdrive settings, but we will prove then and test it. And I'm only here to show you the real numbers or like how you really can use it. I'm not into putting a display tester on it and tell you this are this and that transition is this and this time. I just want to show you the setting or the best use case for you in which terms. So when you're playing CS or Overwatch, or what are the best settings to use, which gives you the best input end-to-end latency. That's why we are here and that's why we are doing this video. So as we talked about this, most of you already know this Optimum Tech review. At first, Optimum Tech is a very good guy. I'm glad he did this because he did all the stuff I don't want to do. He measured all the color gradients stuff, the overdrives, the different ones, and how the overshoot is and whatever. And for him, for example, he said overdrive 15 with overshoot of less than 10% was the most enjoyable. This is one thing I tried for you also, which will I show in a second. But for now, I want to say or talk about one thing is that I need to show you one thing you really need to do. One thing you really need to do is you need to go into your advanced settings in Windows. At first, you need to download the driver from the 2566K from the BenQ side. You download it, then you unpack the zip, then you go into it here, install the inf for your ZOWIE monitor. So there's no plug and play PNP here, whatever. You check mark 360 Hertz. Then you go over here to the color management, I think it's called in English then. I only have the German menu. And then you need to set the color profile from the ZOWIE. It's very, very, very important, guys. Do this. Please do this. And then you go to your NVIDIA settings. You check that you don't use NVIDIA, the NVIDIA color settings. Don't use it, just use the standard. And then you go over to your desktop color settings or however you want to call it. And then please check the reference mode. Please do not this. And do it like this. It's the worst thing you can do, guys. Because I will show you pictures now, which I'm normally played like this on my Aces. But you can't do this on this TN panel. It's not possible. And if you do it like this and you're unhappy with your 2566K, there's a reason, because it's not working, okay? It gets so fucking blurry and so unenjoyable that no one can play competitive with this. Just use the reference mode and the normal standard colors. So, as I said, I will show you some pictures about this. Turned on Overwatch, and then we made one thing. We just put on or resetted all modes, and then we made a picture of the FPS mode 1 with diag on and diag off. That's those two, as you can see. Colors looking pretty the same. You see the brightness changes when diag is off. Why? Because those black light, the black light strobing, always by strobing those black pictures in between the color ones, lowering the brightness, the overall brightness of the monitor a lot. So BenQ ZOWIE, automatically sets the brightness higher when you activate the diag to high or premium, which is a good feature because you need it, you need the brightness or the picture gets too dark and not very enjoyable then. And then I made one thing, because I was using, on day one, I was using like the vibrance 100%, like I always do, and it looked like this. Don't do this, guys. Don't use any vibrance. Do it like I showed you like 1 minute before. That's the worst thing you can do. You see? And the thing is here, those FPS mode 1 is pretty decent. It's very good. I normally play FPS mode 2, which I'll show you in a second. FPS mode 2 looks like this in normal and this with color vibrant 100%. And you see how oversaturated the picture is. You can't play like this because all the benefits you gain by using the diag and by having using this monitor in general are getting obsolete by just using higher vibrance modes. It's just dumb ass. Don't do it. I also show you the FPS 3. That's normal one. I know. That's the normal one. And now that's the one with vibrance 100%. And you see this one, for example, for people who like a very natural, very decent picture, the FPS 3 mode is the best one, I think. For me, the 2 is the best, and I also will show you or prove you now in some latency tests which I have made. Now you ask me, what did you test, Mark? Did you use a monitor tester? Basically no, we just use our LDAT, which is a full latency and display test solution by NVIDIA. We have the latest version of it, and we always test with the same build-up setup. We pre-measure the setup to check if it's still the same like before. So we have the same numbers and the same standard deviation numbers, and then we start to bench whatever we want to bench. And what I benched today for you is like I just benched my old Asus Q&R monitor, which I show you here with 7.18 milliseconds and a standard deviation of 1.65 milliseconds. This is when you put the LDAT on the display using the LDAT program, and you engage from the LDAT the signal, and it measures how long it gets or needs from the triggering on the LDAT tool to have the picture or the photon moved, so the picture gets white and black again, and that's the time which I show you here. And I also did it did this with the 2566K with the standard settings, diag on premium, that's FPS 1, diag premium, armor on high. No armor set manually to 10, 12, 15 or whatever. It's just armor high, because if you use the standard numbers, they don't use armor premium, because I think, or what I saw and I tested is that armor premium won't give you any advantages. I saw no advantages, only that the picture is getting blurry. So armor high is one of the sweet spots for me. I just checked it, and they are basically all roughly around 9.3 to 9.6 milliseconds with a standard deviation of 2.5 milliseconds. Now you say that's higher than the Asus, and I say yes, that's higher. But one thing is that the tool cannot prove or check when the black picture is falling down. That's one thing. And the other thing is that when I do this test with diag off, which I won't play with, gives me another number. I show you the numbers in a second, but I just want to show you that measuring this is maybe not the most valuable thing I can show you. That's why I also will show you some other tests I've done. And you see with a nearly double so high standard deviation that something is maybe not totally right, but I can tell you it is right. Because when you see the numbers with diag off, and I explain you why the latency is higher with diag on, you will understand. Now, here we have the same presets on the monitor, FPS 1, 3 and 2, where you see 2 is the fastest with the diag off. And now it's up to 3 or 2 milliseconds faster, between 2 and 3 milliseconds. Now you ask me why so, because the input, the extra input on the display or the extra pictures made by the diag, they will have or they cause those 2 up to 3 milliseconds more latency. Will you feel it? I don't think so. One thing is that you will feel when diag is off, because the picture isn't as clear in fast movements anymore as it was before, and for me the diag is the main feature. So for me it's most important how the monitor performs in general. That's why I'm not only about those latency numbers, but I can tell you those numbers are here are very close to the ACES. It's like 0.7, 0.8 milliseconds faster in the fastest test here than the ACES QNR, which shows me that, of course, TN is a little bit faster and the new technology also is smoother, or like, how can I say, the TN technology is better for lower latency or for lower response times of the monitor, but you have or you would use it only with the diag. So now you need to ask yourself, when OLED comes with 360 or 240, will it be more enjoyable than TN and IPS? We don't know, but we will prove. And I will show you on the dual driver AQN how it looks when you have the newest IPS technology. But for now we see with diag off and the same armor settings and the same color settings, it is faster than the ACES by nearly 1 millisecond. That's good news, but wasn't it there before? We don't know. If you compare it, for example, with the old K model on 240 Hz, there it was like up to 14 milliseconds, just for you to have it in mind. Then I compared the numbers I saw on the Optimum Tech video, just for me to have it like I wanted to see what is about the numbers. And you see those ARMA 15 settings with diag off are basically or nearly the same as the ARMA Premium preset with on FPS 2. So doing it by hand is maybe not needful, but you can fine tune and fine adjust every profile, and you can also set back every profile separate or all at once. That's also a very good feature on a monitor. But for me, or my advice for you is just use the standard profiles. It's the best way to have the most enjoyable experience. And then I just tested the GPX, one of the most played mice out there. On my old Asus QNR monitor with no G-Sync, it was 7.43 milliseconds. On the FPS setting once with diag off, it's 6.9 milliseconds, so half a millisecond faster. And with diag set on premium, it's roughly 5 milliseconds. That's the end-to-end latency when you click here until the picture or the light change has done or is happen on a monitor. So end-to-end, not mouse latency, guys. Now you say that's pretty fast. All the other guys have 40 milliseconds. Yes, that's pretty fast because I have a fast PC. That's basically the explanation. It's not like having house 12 milliseconds or Optimum Tech with 14 milliseconds. Here everything is a little bit faster because I'm trying to still play competitive every day, even if I'm old, and for me it's most important to have a very fast system. Just to show you this and end my video with the explanation or with some words that I just wanted to show you the way how to use this monitor the best way, so you have a very enjoyable experience with it and still maintaining the highest possible performance without changing too much or without making too, or with avoiding you from making a lot of mistakes. So as you can see, and as I told you already, if you are on a competitive edge and you want to stay competitive, or you're going into competitive, or you are, or whatever, buy this monitor. It is the #1 choice for Full HD 25-inch. Just play it, be happy, perform the best. Be sure there's nothing on the market which is better. If you are more about better colors and a more enjoyable game, maybe wait for the RQN review, maybe try the new Alienware monitor I showed you already, and save the 650 euro for a TN panel and watch for like roughly 400, 450 euro IPS panel, something like this. You get them 360 Hz also. For now, I have to say thanks for watching. If there are any questions, put it down in the comments below, guys, and we see us on the next video. Goodbye.